mean, how did you all meet?
Never forget about that.
Oh, a long time
We
ago.
were students together at Cambridge.
Yeah.
Bill and I met within about a few weeks of us arriving there, didn't we?
Yes.
I can't think quite why. Actually, the basic thing was we were doing sketches together for a charity day, and it went on from there. Graham was in another college, but we joined
But
the
also a great deal younger, so I arrived much later.
Yes, deceptively. There's a club at Cambridge called the Footlights Club, which has been going for over 100 years now. It's basically to do reviews, and we eventually all joined that. We'd just come after, I think, the greatest comedic genius of all time, Peter Cook, who had just been there just before us.
Was it the same college as
yes,
Tim
as
and I
us.
were,
Yes.
which was even more of a challenge and inspiration.
Inspiration, yes. And so the time was right for comedy anyway, student comedy, because it was the time of everything was changing, fashions, the Beatles. You were allowed to be anti-establishment.
Do you remember that? I think that was one of our first pieces of contact, where you were saying the Beatles are awfully good, and I came in and said, no, this is what was it, a Debs fan or something?
Yeah.
I think. No, but you never have heard of him in 6 months from now. Tim knew. He could have been Brian Epstein, Tim.
I didn't have the limp.
Actually, this is one of those unique opportunities. We don't see each other very much, where I might find out something about erstwhile colleagues. I don't know whether either Tim or Graham had ambitions to perform or had performed before they got to university. I had, speaking for myself at school, there was sort of tradition of doing a school review type thing, and I'd written the school review. I say tradition of two, because this other guy had done one and I'd been in it, and then when I got
That's
to
a
do
tradition.
my last year, it is, isn't it? Yeah. And
It is to Australians.
I carried it on. It's terrible and dangerously so. And so I'd sort of already started doing songs and sketches at school, and therefore was looking for an opportunity to perhaps continue to do that. Now, I've never known him.
Well, I've always said that Bill was the one person that actually would quite like to have gone into the business, the show business, and none of the rest that I worked with had any intention. John Cleese and I, for example, were going to be lawyers, and that was it. I only joined the Footlights because I'd promised my local education committee, who were going to pay for me to go to Cambridge, that I would do something when I wasn't working, and what I intended to do when I wasn't working wouldn't have got me a grant. So I said, I'm going to join the Footlights. I hadn't really heard of the Footlights, and they all seemed so smart and clever.
It was scary.
That I didn't remotely think of joining them. In fact, I thought I'd better do something, so I went to this Pembroke College Players, had a production, and they were auditioning, and there were 32 parts. 33 people auditioned, and I failed to get a part, so that was a great start. But then only a few weeks later, Bill and I met up, and that got us going. We started to do things together, and our review that year, our college review, actually, the sketches got us into the Footlights, didn't they?
Yeah.
But the rest of us were, Graham was going to be a doctor, John Cleese and I were also going to be lawyers. It wasn't a question
of going in as a group. I mean,
Yeah.
with none of us individually, I think,
No.
fought our way into show business. Because as a group, we were employed on radio to begin with. But
That's a much bigger group than just the three of us.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about the important ones.
I mean, you know, I mean, we were at Cambridge at the same time as half the Python people, for example. I mean, John Cleese and Eric Idle and Graham Chapman were all there at the same time. Mike Penny and Terry Jones were at Oxford at the same time, and there were hundreds of these people, you know, that sort of, well, about 20.
Bill and I auditioned Eric Idle in my room, and we thought, what a cocky little he was.
No, I'm not cocky.
He was the least cocky.
I was going to say, exactly.
Yeah.
There were three of these guys, and they just found everything they said so funny, but they couldn't even perform it. You know, they came in and said, I'm sorry, we've only just written this. I'm sorry, you have to forgive us if we're laughing, but we've only heard it a couple of times. And they just and we're going on and Eric said, it's not that funny, it's not that funny. And so we thought, we'll have it, because he was shy.
Yes, relatively.